composition of the coaching staff, there's some veterans such as Todd and Mike, and there's some younger guys, Rich and Nick. That seems very deliberate. You want to have maybe a mix of people with different experiences in terms of years, and as well as just places they've been. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, yeah, that's accurate. I think it's how exactly it was going to look. When we started that process, I wasn't sure, but I knew that having a mix of experiences, mix of different backgrounds, some different ideas, but also bring in people that have some core philosophies that are similar and they're aligned. And you want that. Like, I like different. I like having. You go through the entire coaching staff now. There's a lot of different places that these coaches have come from, experiences that they've had in the game, and so now you bring that all in together. But I was really happy. It's a long process when you're filling out very close to a full coaching staff. But these guys are. I think they're going to bring a lot, and and when we bring all those ideas together, we're looking for that to benefit the group, benefit the organization, and I think it will.
Kyle mentioned some of the duties, like who's running the power play. I don't think he mentioned the forwards. Who's going to oversee the forward group?
So Todd Nelson will be working with the forwards, along with Nick Bonino.
Gotcha.
And then Mike Stothers will be working with the D. He'll be working with the penalty kill. Nick Bonino will also help with the penalty kill. Rich Clune will be eyeing the sky, so he won't be on the bench or in games. But Rich is going to be involved in a lot of different things. Like I can tell right away from working with him. Like, he's going to be somebody that can bring a lot of ideas to a lot of different parts of the game. There'll be a little bit more focus there with him on individuals. There'll be a connection with him, connecting with the player development. But he'll also have a voice and a hand in a lot of things. And I think that goes along with the entire coaching staff. Like, we've had a few days of meetings now. We're going to continue to meet throughout the entire camp. We'll be in conversations all summer. We'll be getting back together at the end of the summer. Like, there's work to be done. This week's been big for us as a starting point, but everybody's going to have a voice. And while somebody will need to kind of be the lead voice in certain areas, everybody's going to have a voice.
What's the benefit of having someone like Nick Bonino not that far removed from his playing career? And when you had him as a player, did you see him as a future coach?
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely did. I said it to him before. I think he might have brought it up there yesterday, but I did. We had a lot of conversations about the game, and especially working with somebody like Bones in two different organizations. I think he's somebody he's always thinking, and he's got great ideas. He had great ideas as a player, and so those would lead to good conversation. And you could just tell, he's somebody that I had hoped he'd want to get into coaching. I thought, because I feel like there's a lot of that he can bring to a coaching staff, and the timing couldn't have worked out better. The fact that it's here, and also the fact that he was in a position where he felt like this would be a good time to transition into kind of that next phase of the game for him. But he's. You can tell right away just how engaged he is in the conversations that we're having, and the different ideas that he's already bringing in. He's been coaching for like 2 weeks now. But you also have to take into account, technically he just started coaching. He's been in the game for a long time, and he's been doing it, and he's had success in the game too. And I think that's also something to note with the entire coaching staff is, I think everybody's got some great experiences. I think people have been, in roles that have been, development has been a focus, but throughout the coaching staff, there's a lot of winning too. And so knowing what it takes to win, because that's why we're here. We've talked a lot about development, and I did in my press conference as well, but it's about us, getting back to contention and winning. And I really am happy with the way the coaching staff rounded out, and that there's a lot of experience in that.
That notion of winning really applies to Todd Nelson, back-to-back Calder Cup champion. What are maybe the details of what he can offer your squad? Yeah,
I actually lost track of how many Calder Cups he's actually won. You go back, it's like 4 or 5. It's a crazy record or crazy success that he's had, and he's done it while still developing players, younger players coming up. He's done it with older players, veteran players as well, and everything in between. And so he's got a great track record, and we didn't have a relationship prior to this. I spoke with him, but I was really impressed going through the process with him, the ideas that he has, and I think it's you want to have people around you too that have gone through it before, and because while it's always different in different places, and every team that has success has their own story behind it, there are some things that I think do apply across the board. And so with him, same thing with Mike Stothers and the success that he's had, success that Rich Clune's had in the game, the entire staff, and Nick Bonino obviously with the 2 cups here. But he's won throughout his career, even going back to NCAA championship. And so it's good to have that. It's good to have that while also having the coaches that, have had success there, in some different places in terms of, developing and getting not just individuals, but also groups to that point where they're having that success.
Dan, how much input or direction did Kyle give you on assistant coaches?
We were working together throughout the entire process. I think whether it's a name that maybe came to me or a name that came to him, we were communicating on all that, along with Jason Spezza as well. I think it was, and that was great. I really didn't come into the job saying, this is the group. There's some people that I thought I'd want to speak with, and that was a starting point. But I think sometimes people will come into a job like this and they'll kind of have it locked in that, this is pretty firm. This is going to be the coaching staff that we want to go with. That wasn't the case here. And so that probably made it for a little bit of a longer process. But I actually thought it was really good. I got to speak with a lot of, great coaches, anyone of who would have been great behind an NHL bench. We felt like this, the staff that we have now, this is the right fit for us.
Dan, again with Nick, there's 4 guys still on the team that he won cups with. 2 others with Tristan and Eric that he's played with as well. Just for you, how much value is there with that? How much can that help you that he has familiarity with a few guys that are still on the team?
No, it definitely helps a lot. I mean, like the fact that he has the relationships are already there. In some ways it might be a little different. I think that players getting used to, I don't know if they'll call him Coach Bonino. I don't know if we'll get to that. Coach Bones. I think it helps because of the relationship piece. And the type of person that he is, though, I think it's going to be a really easy transition. I mean, I think he is, and this has even come up, even while he was playing, he was kind of coaching in some ways. He was just that type of a person, is that type of a person. So, but I think just having, being familiar with the players, the people, the organization as a whole, there's definitely a lot, it's a bonus because if I was working in a different organization, I wouldn't get the same phone call to him. So.
The back end has been a focal point of discussion for a while now. So Mike was added onto the staff late. Just what went into the decision to bring him in for that role specifically?
Well, I think he's another coach that he's had tremendous success, really everywhere he's been. He won a championship there in the American League. He's been an assistant coach in the NHL for multiple organizations. He's somebody I've met before, but like we didn't have a relationship prior to this. He's somebody, and I would say this with all the coaches, that just going through the process that are here now. Like we spoke to a lot of people that he's worked with, and a lot of players that he's worked with. The hockey world's a small world, and it's pretty easy to connect the dots. The impact that he's made on players, with both him and Todd Nelson, I was blown away by the conversations and just how impactful that they've been, on both the teams that they've worked for in the past, but also the relationships and the way he's been able to help players continue to grow, in pro hockey. And so, we feel strongly that, there's going to be a lot of benefits that he'll be able to bring to the back end. And as I said before, too, it'll be the back end, but I think it's, this is going to be a collaborative group. This isn't going to be, independent contractors working in different parts of the building, and it's going to be us working together with the entire group. And I think that as a coaching staff, everybody believes in that, and we'll be doing that.
You bring back Andy Chiodo, kind of coming off a tough year for the goalies, Jari in particular. What gives you confidence that Chiodo is the guy for the job still?
Yeah, he went through the process too. You know, I didn't. This wasn't me, you know, being here and saying this is convenient to keep somebody on board. Like it's obviously these hires are important, and making sure that you know, the group that we have here is the right fit for these players and for these organizations, and also for the staff and for the way that we wanted to work together. And so we went through a process with him. I met with him for a long time. I spoke with other people as well, other candidates, and he earned the job. And so I'm excited that he's back. I'm excited about the work he's going to do based on the conversations that we had. But he earned that.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.